This right here is where it's at.
I appreciate y'all, man. This gonna be dope, man. We're finna shoot this podcast, drop some knowledge. Let me see what's going on. Waiting on Cafe Code. I'm putting my 2 week notice. Putting your 2 weeks notice in, huh? All right.
He said they finna put it in.
Yeah, he said he finna put his 2 week notice in. I see you.
Man, that right there is a good feeling. Let me tell you.
Yeah. You gotta fire your boss, dog. Get that cage code and fire your boss.
Exactly.
Tell him you're done with him. All right, man. Y'all be sure to tap in when this drop. Distorted Cosmos. It's going down. We're gonna talk about some good shit today,
Thing out. What's going on? It's your boy Torian Himes. I'm the host of Distorted Cosmos. You know, sometimes we'll be doing the most. And today we got a special guest with us, my man Kev J with Government Cheese. Man, yes, what's going on, sir? How you feeling?
Feeling good.
So how's Dallas treat you?
I love Dallas.
You love Dallas?
Now, Dallas.
So you mainly in Miami, right?
Yeah, I live down in Miami.
Okay, well, tell the people a few things about you, man.
So I got started in government contracting in 2008, 2009, after the recession.
Yeah.
Had to figure out a way to kind of do something because I was in real estate before that.
Oh, okay.
And so I took guys that I had that I was using to flip houses, and then I transitioned them over into doing stuff with the government. And so I started like with the VA hospital, started doing like minor rehabs and stuff like that. And then just grew the business up over the next couple of years. Got into underground utility construction in about 2015.
Yeah.
Rocked out with that for 2 years, and then I ended up selling my company.
The pipes and stuff?
Yeah, with the pipeline stuff. Okay. And then I ended up selling my company in 2017. And then ever since then, from 2017 really to like 2020, I was trying to figure out kind of what I want to do.
Okay.
And then I was just all over the place. And I ended up getting back into the underground utility space during COVID. Because it blew up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the industry blew up. So I got back into it. And then I was doing that. And then just last year, I was like, man, I want to do something different. Like, I want to just try to take everything that I have, knowledge I have, and kind of give back to people and help out. So we started Government Cheese. And it's actually just been 1 year. It's crazy. It started here in Dallas a year ago. So Government Cheese started here in Dallas a year ago. And I've just been loving every minute of that, just being able to meet dope individuals like, you know what I'm saying, like yourselves, and just connect with really great people, great business people, and then just kind of just give some of my knowledge and just help people out. Because I feel like, you know what I'm saying, when I started, we didn't have these types of platforms, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have the social media, we didn't have, really the internet wasn't even really big like that. And so I had to kind of get it out the mud from the sense that I just had to go hand to hand with everything. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn the hard way. And so now I feel like there's so much opportunity for individuals because we have all these different platforms.
Agreed.
So I'm like, shit, if I was able to be successful and I had to get it out the mud and work like I had to work, imagine how successful others can be
if they had a platform
with all the platforms and all the resources.
A plan.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? With all the resources that you have available. So I'm like, man, if I could take some of the stuff that I learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then show people that, and then show them how to take all the stuff that they have now in today's age and put it together, man, people could blow up. And so I just been really passionate about that, and I'm loving every minute of it.
So for the people who don't understand what government contracting is, can you give them a background? Now I seen you talked about a story on your IG, your first $100 million contract.
Yeah. So government contracting, so essentially there's three forms of business, right? So you can do B2B, business to business, B2C, business consumer, and usually that's where most people stop, is with the B2B and B2C.
Yeah.
But the B2G, the business to government, is actually the largest sector. And so basically the simplest way to explain government contracting is literally any good or service that we would use as citizens, the government also uses. The difference is that they don't do stuff on the retail markets like we do on the retail markets. So
They go straight to the source with it.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
what I tell people is, for example, like with toilet paper, right? So the army doesn't go to Walmart like we go to Walmart to buy toilet paper. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But that doesn't mean they don't use the bathroom. They just don't go to Walmart.
Exactly.
So they go to third parties like myself, right, and other government contractors to get those things that they need. So basically, that's what we do is provide basic goods and services to the government. And it can be anything, whereas as low, like we say, like toilet paper, paper towels, even now like laptops, HDMI cords, everything that you see in this room that we're utilizing right now today, the government utilizes as well. It's just, what I'm saying, when y'all wanted to get it to build your podcast room, you went to Amazon, you went to Best Buy, but they can't do that. So they go to companies like myself. So that's basically what government contracting is in the simplest form. And then the way I utilized it, when you talk about like the $100 million contract that I got was, so I was specifically in construction and construction management, right, at the time. And so the government puts out these large contracts that they call MATOCs and SATOCs. So what they are is multiple award and single award task order contracts.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll take a pool of money and they'll basically put it in a bank account and say, okay, we're going to give you this pool of money to spend over the next 2 to 5 years. And then it's a simplified acquisition process, so that way they don't have to go back out to bid all the time. They already got the money sitting there. And then all they do is just say, just go to work, go to work, go to work. And then when you spend all the bread, then you're done.
Gotcha.
So the way those work is, like in that particular one, it was $100 million. Well, the first one I got was $100 million, and it was for the VA Vision 8. So it was all the VA hospitals from Orlando to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. And so basically I was responsible for doing construction work on all those facilities. And I just had that pool of money to work off of.
Gotcha.
So that's how that worked.
That's fire. So the next question is about your habits as an entrepreneur. So what are some of your daily habits that you have?
Yeah, so for me, like, man, every day I'm up between 5 and 5:30. I hit the gym first thing. I check my emails. I just kind of reflect on what I want to do throughout the day.
Gotcha.
And then, so for me, like I said, I start my day at 5:30. I get all my stuff out of the way that I need to get out the way.
Yeah.
And then I try to be by like 9, 10 o'clock kind of wrapped up with stuff so that I'm sitting kind of waiting to answer phone calls and deal with clients. Because the thing with the government that I love is they work, 8 to 3:30, 9 to 4, like
before we out of there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're not really, so
yeah, we out of there.
So I've learned a way to basically look at the format in which they work, and then I structure my day around that. So basically what I do, like I said, I wake up early, get my stuff knocked out, the things that are important to me, the gym, all those different things. I reply to all my emails that might have came in from the afternoon. I reply to those all. I try to get all that done by 9. So then at like 9, 10, I'm just sitting waiting on them to call you and do stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I get all my research done before then, everything like that, so that I'm just free and clear. Then I've learned that typically they're gonna work from 9 to maybe 11, and then
go to lunch.
And they go to lunch, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I'll kind of do my stuff. 11 to 1 is when I'll start moving around.
Yeah,
doing
it's your break time.
That's my break time, because that's their break time. And then when they come back from lunch, I kind of got to be ready to answer.
About 1 to 3.
And then that's that next phase, that 1 to 3. So then what I do is that 1 to 3, then I'm just seeing what's going on. I'm on my computer, ready to respond to anything that they have. And then basically by 3, my day is pretty much done. And then what I do is I respond to all my emails that came in from basically 9 to 3. I respond to them from 3 to 5.
Gotcha.
So I kind of set up a system where I only check my email and respond to stuff in the morning and in the afternoon.
Gotcha.
And then during the day, I'm kind of set up. And then from there, from 5 to 10, that's family time. I'm doing stuff with my kids, with my wife, like doing stuff like that. And
super important. That's super important. You got to incorporate these things. For all y'all listening entrepreneurs out there, you got to create time and space for your family, because having a business is one thing, but having nobody to share it with is a complete another. So be sure that you carving out time for yourself and for your business, but it got to be a balance. That's why we talk about the work-life balance of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, the balance is key, because If you get so focused and just working and working and working and working,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, what you working for? And then you're gonna end up working yourself down. And then next thing you know, you gonna wake up and be like, damn, where'd all the
Where did
time
all
go?
this time go? I ain't got nothing to show for it
Yeah, you
but a
got nothing.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about being an entrepreneur as well is like we don't really do it for ourselves. You're doing it for other people. So if you own a business, you're making sure that you're up early doing stuff because your employees rely on you. You know what I'm saying? Then when it comes to your family, you got your family rely on you. So you're not really doing nothing for yourself. So you gotta kind of try to take that time to balance it out to make sure that you're having some form of life for yourself, because we see it all the time. People work themselves into the grave, and then it's like,
and then what?
And then what?
Yeah.
And the sad reality is like your employees, the people you think friends, they're not gonna care.
As soon as you dead and gone,
they gone.
Look, I need.
Yeah.
I gotta hire somebody else to fill his slot.
Yeah. So it's like, so
you
have to balance the balance is so key, because if you don't have that balance, then you're gonna be completely off. So yeah, the work life balance is definitely big.
So the next question is, are you a reader? And if so, what books are you currently reading?
Yeah, so I do read. I've been doing this thing 75 hard since January.
Let me tell you that. So for all y'all who don't know about the 75 hard, I'm gonna let him tell you about it. It's not for me. I tried it one day and I was like, you know what? I got better shit to do.
So the craziest thing is the hardest part of the 75 hard for me. So the working out wasn't hard because I already work out every day. So working out's not hard. Drinking water, like you said, drinking water is not hard. I already do that. So the hardest part was actually carving out time to read. I used to read always, but when doing this, like now I'm forced. So the book I'm currently reading as a part of that is $100 Million Offer by Alex Hormozy. I read 4 Hour Work Week. That was one that really changed my life last year, because that's the one
4 Hour Work Week.
Yeah. Because that's the one that really taught me about the whole checking the email and disconnecting and stuff like that. So 4 Hour Work Week was dope. I read a lot of stuff, entrepreneurial books that are more about productivity than kind of like the financial part of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like 4 Hour Work Week, like 30-day entrepreneur, things like that really try to shift your mind. Because the problem with being an entrepreneur is that we don't really there is no like playbook to say that this is the way it works and you do it right. Because there's so many people that have done it so many different ways that have had success. So you kind of got to just like take a little bit from each person and kind of figure out what's going to be your formula for success.
Agreed.
So like all three of us in this room, we can have completely different formulas. We can still get all of us to the same outcome. You know what I'm saying? But how we get there may be a little bit different. So I've been working on over the last probably 3 years, is really figuring out that formula. Early on, I figured out what most people would be the hardest part, which is the financial part. The financial part was the easiest part for me. Yeah. Like getting money has never been a problem. Like I always knew how to get money. Yeah. The problem is everything else. As I started to get older, it's like, okay, how do I do the balance, the work-life balance? Like how do I make time for myself? How do I make sure that I'm in good mental and physical health?
Yeah.
So that I could be around, you know what I'm saying? So it's all those things. So I've been focusing a lot on the productivity side of being an entrepreneur.
Gotcha. So the next question is, if you could go back in time and tell your younger self one gem, and this can also apply to, if someone was to ask you what's the next step, what gem or nugget would you give them?
Man, so if I could talk to my younger self, honestly, the biggest thing that I would tell my younger self is start investing earlier.
Start investing early.
So I wish I would have started investing earlier. Mm-hmm. So I got into real estate in 2004. Right? 2004, 2005. But even when I started then, I didn't have the right mindset.
Yeah.
So I was just worried about the quick cash. So I was just buying houses, flipping them, like just making quick money. I wish I would have then understood the power of investing and holding.
Buy and hold. Yeah.
Even though it looked bad at the time, like, we were paying high prices for things. Hindsight, when we look back now, almost 20 years later, like those prices that we thought were high prices then are like, if we could find stuff for even twice that right now,
man,
we'd be
be
straight. You know what I'm saying?
Be happy, yeah.
So it's like I wish that I understood that more and I had the discipline. And I think that was the biggest thing is the discipline. Like sometimes we don't have the discipline, and so I wish that at a young age I had the discipline and really was focused and understood investing and discipline with investing. If I had that, like, and if all of us had that, we'd be so much better off. And that's something I started doing probably within the last I'd say probably 10 years, 8 to 10 years. Anytime I do something, I make a decent amount of money, I buy a piece of property.
Gotcha.
And so now I just buy real estate and I'll buy stuff and don't even do nothing with it. Like I bought stuff I've never seen. Like I just buy stuff. So if I get a little chunk of money, even if it's little money, 1,000, 2,000, because there's ways to buy stuff really, really cheap.
Yeah.
Especially you go places like here in Texas. Like you can get stuff here in Texas.
Land.
You can get land.
Tax liens,
bro.
Foreclosures.
Because the one thing I tell people is like, we ain't making no more land.
Right.
Like
they ain't making no more,
like,
regardless of how you think about it.
It's already here. Yeah. So like the earth's not going to grow. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
If anything, the amount of land is decreasing with global warming and things like that.
Yeah.
So buy something, buy anything, and just sit on it, and it's always going to grow. So that would be one piece of advice. What's
your buy box in real estate? I mean, I know the places might not be a factor for you, but do you look for multifamily?
It's all over the place.
Single family,
everything, bro. I buy land. I buy single family. Right now, I'm looking for multifamily.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to get into is more multifamily, because that's something that, like I said, I wish back then I had a lot of multifamily in the early 2000s, and I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, and so I those are some of the things that I lost. So I was like, damn, if that's something I can get back into, because especially the way the economy is going, they're literally trying to get rid of the low and middle class.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got to have somewhere to live. So that's one thing. The multifamily is basically, that's where I'm hot at right now. But the land and single family I buy too.
Yeah, so I tell people, if you want to get into real estate, my advice is, if you have the ability to, get yourself a duplex. Right, if you can afford to live in one side and have someone else to pay to live in the other side, they'll cover a majority of your expenses if the rent rate is right. But still, though, you only got one mortgage and you bringing in 2 rents. So if you can double up on that duplex, you mess around and can pay that bad boy off super fast, and that'll be 2 streams of income for you. And you can put that onto your next house, or you can put that onto to your next investment property, and keep running that same play over and over and over.
That's literally how I started with a duplex. And I lived on one side, rented one side out. And then when I got enough bread, I went and got another one. And then I ended up moving my grandparents into that side that I was in. I made it all nice. And I was like, look, y'all move in here. You ain't got to worry about paying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just stack your bread. Then I went and got the next one. And I just kept doing that exact same thing. Just kept moving. The focus, man. The only thing that I say was back then, I didn't have to focus because I was young.
Yeah.
But like now I got the focus. So now I know, okay, as I do stuff, all right, I got to do this. I got to do this.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah. And I use the government contracting to kind of fuel all of that.
Yeah.
That's why I love it, because with the government stuff, I can create my own schedule, like we just talked about. You know what I'm saying? So I can do my own thing. I can create my own revenue, because literally, I tell my students, whatever size company you want to have, just tell me, and we can sit down and we'll put a plan together to build that. Because everything with the government is given to us, so the budgets are given to us every year, so we know where they're going to spend the money. We know how they're going to spend it. We know how much. We can historically look at the different values as prices raise, so we could build anything. So that's basically what I did for myself. I said, okay, I want to make X, Y, Z because I know I want to do these other things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I everything I do, I reverse engineer it. So I say, okay, where's my goal, and then how do I get there? And that's honestly why I love the government contracting, because it's the easiest way to do that. See, in normal business, if we're trying to sell a product to a customer, we're searching for those customers. So we'll say, okay, we want to have $1 million business. Okay, if we have $1,000 product, we need to sell 1,000 of those $1,000 products to get there, right?
Yeah.
But now you're fighting, trying to figure out, okay, where can I find 1,000 customers?
Yeah.
and then
That's
you're
where your
trying
marketing skills
that
and you out there trying to put it in front of everybody.
it's
One
already there.
customer.
It's one
Yeah,
customer.
yeah, we already got that.
You already got a customer. So
Yeah.
so it's like all you gotta say, okay, I want to have $1 million company. Okay, here's my customer. Okay, where's the easiest access to $1 million
To $1 million.
with that
Yeah.
customer?
What is that customer spending $1
$1
million
million
plus on?
And that's why I tell
Yeah.
people like come to me and they're like, well, I don't have a business or I don't know what I want to do. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So I've seen a few of your videos,
Yeah.
but tell the people what's the most common thing that's bought by the government.
Yeah.
The common and easiest way to get into it.
So there's everything that we do is I talk about it within the top 5, right?
Yeah.
So the top 5 industries are going to be defense, which is the military. Always going to be number one, right? Healthcare, which is natural. Construction, IT, and then your 5th one is always going to jump back and forth depending on what's going on in the country at the time. So sometimes it's research and development. Sometimes it's facilities maintenance. So that number 5 is always going to change, but those 4 are always going to be that way.
Always solid.
It's solid, right? So if you can do anything in defense where you're supplying the military, you're always going to be straight. And that can be as simple as, like I said, selling toilet paper to the base.
TP, shit paper.
They need it.
They need it every day. Yeah.
So it can be as simple as selling toilet paper to the base, or it can be as complex as selling guns, right?
Yeah.
So that's your military side. Your construction is just as construction, right? Like, so they're always going to be building things. They're always going to be fixing, renovating. That's always going to be there. So if you can get into the construction space in any way, you're always going to eat. Same thing with the healthcare space. So in this country, the sad reality is they train you up as children to be able to go into one of 3 systems: the educational system, the military system, or the penal system.
Yeah.
Right. So you're either gonna go to school, jail, or the military. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fact.
So and it is what it is, right? So so with that, they have to provide healthcare to all 3 of those systems.
They do.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the school system, they have to provide healthcare. They have to do certain things through government assistance like Medicaid, all those things. So there's opportunities, healthcare. The prison system, same thing. They have to provide healthcare in the prison system. So
food,
all that's going to be there.
Yeah.
Same thing with the military. While people are in the military, they have to provide them healthcare services, and when they get out, they have to provide them healthcare services.
I'm one of the ones all y'all did, all you veterans.
Yeah. So healthcare is always going to boom because the government always has to provide healthcare to those basic 3 systems.
Yeah.
Now, outside of that, it is what it is. But those basic 3 systems, healthcare always has to be provided to. So there's money in healthcare. IT's for the past 30 years, as
it's only growing.
Technology grows, it grows.
Yeah,
it's only growing, right? Every day. Now we got different AI and different things like that. Like, it constantly grows. So the IT space, if you can get into it, you're there. So those are going to be the 4 that are going to be always consistent, and there's always money there. I would tell somebody, if somebody came to me today and said, what is something simple that I can get into? I would tell them 2 things. If you don't have a particular skill, just get into commodities. Just sell.
Pins.
That's it. Yeah. It's super easy. It doesn't require much overhead at all.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a big office. You don't need employees. You don't need a lot of money. It's literally just buying and selling of goods. So that's going to be the simplest thing to get into. But on the flip side, I have full transparency. Just like anything, if you're doing something with low overhead, with low cost, with all those things, your margins aren't going to be super high. It's a numbers game.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, if you're selling pens, how much markup can you put on a pen? You feel me?
Exactly.
It's a 10-cent pen. If you put one
put
pen,
$1 on it, yeah, they gonna be like,
you feel me?
Yeah.
So it's relative, right? But there is an opportunity there. The other thing is, if you have physical skills and you're not scared to get in and do labor, facilities maintenance is huge. So it's things that are taken for granted: landscaping, pest control, janitorial services.
Yeah.
So all these buildings, courthouses, libraries, schools, they have to be maintained, right?
They do.
And so now, in the old days, the 60s, 70s, even in the 80s, the government had workers that maintained all those things. They used to have staff. When we got into the 90s, the government went away from that and started doing all of this
Contracting. Yep.
So there's a lot of opportunity. And the great thing about this, and we talked about it in one of my boot camps the other day. So a janitor at a regular office building may make $20 an hour, but a janitor in the federal space would make probably $70 or $80 an hour. Doing the exact same thing.
It's just about his route and path.
It's just different. It's just different. Same job is different, but the thing is, and people say, well, why do they get so much more to do government work? It's because there's a lot of more criteria that are put on. So it's more things that you have to do to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it, so much worth, so worthwhile. So janitorial, landscaping, pest control, just simple facilities maintenance. You can make a lot of money in facilities maintenance with the government. Something that people don't think about, cutting the grass at the VA cemetery.
It got to be done.
It has to be done. Another one that pays really, really good at VA cemetery is cleaning the headstones, the marble headstones.
Got to be done.
Got to be done. But you don't. But these are things that you don't think about. See, people don't think that these are actual jobs.
It's not a regular job.
Yeah, so you don't think about it.
Yeah.
But then it's things that we take for granted, like you're a vet. So you go to the VA hospital, you don't want to walk in the VA hospital and it's dirty. You expect it to be clean. Same thing when you pull up at the front, you expect the grass to be cut. You don't ever think about who cuts the grass.
Flowers to be planted.
Yeah, you don't.
Grass to be trimmed because those are the same standards that was held when I was a soldier of troop. We had to have our grass cut. We did our own grass cutting and our landscaping and everything. So therefore, with the Department of Veteran Affairs, I would expect to at least have the grass cut, at least have the bushes trimmed. Yeah. I don't want no weeds on the gates because, like I said, when I was there,
that's how you had to do it.
That's how I had to do it.
Right. So it's the same. It's those basic things like that. That's a large opportunity. And another reason why I tell people to try to get into those spaces is because it's sad, but the next generation, they don't want to work hard. Like hard work has gone away.
Microwave generation.
It's microwave, bro. And so it's hard to tell a kid now, hey, you're gonna be a janitor. I'm not being no, you know what I'm saying? They look at you like you're crazy, but it's like, it's like, bro, you make money. Like at the VA, you make some change. You make good money cleaning the VA, and it's something. But so as the generations grow and technology becomes more prevalent, and people start to think that they don't want to do those types of jobs, the demand for those jobs increases. Yeah. So now the pay for those jobs is going to increase. It continues to increase. So
supply and demand. Right?
So those are a couple things. Those are the two things. If people came to me and said, "Hey, I want to get in the game. What should I do?" Products or facilities maintenance.
Gotcha. So tell the people how they can get in contact with your program. I know you just had an event in Vegas, right?
So governmentcheese.org is the website. On all the socials is GOV_cheese. We did just do the event in Vegas. We got another one coming up in May in Miami.
May in Miami.
So what I try to do is once a quarter, I do an event. So once every quarter, I do an event, and I try to rotate the cities.
Yeah.
And I limit them to 25 people because I want to be able to get with each person and really provide value to their actual business. So I'll never do those big 100-person events, like not as my actual individual boot camps. When I do the individual boot camps, 25 people, and we do that so once a quarter. So we just did Vegas. We got Miami coming up, and then I think we're talking about either doing Dallas or Houston in July. We just haven't figured out exactly which one. So
what's the ticket for that?
So those are
people who want to go ahead on and cop their ticket now. Go ahead on and get if you're interested. He's finna tell you how to get into it, the financial, because it's a cost for everything. Ain't nothing free.
Yeah. So I tell people, this is the way I tell people, right? Information is free, but you pay for access.
You pay for access to it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So the course is $997, and it comes with the community. You get private Facebook group, bi-weekly group coaching, and then the in person is $24.97.
Okay.
And then you get the course with that for free.
Gotcha.
So so you get all that, and man, it's a dope time, because when people come, I cover everything. So I cover all the food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything, both
fine.
days. I want you just to come and just really be ready to focus,
absorb knowledge,
and
focus
absorb it,
on the
because
process.
it's a lot of information. And I try to give as much as I can in those 2 days. Even 2 days isn't enough.
It's not enough. Yeah, I think Sam getting set up in Sam.gov is
it's like
about a 2-3 hour
it's
process.
a 2-3 hour process. So I usually do, and that's one thing I do is like when people come. So we go over. We don't even get to SAM registration until the second day or the second half of the first day.
Okay.
The whole first half of the first day, we're going through doing a SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, really breaking down you as an individual, breaking down your business so you understand what you're going for.
Gotcha.
We do market research to figure out, like we talked about, it's the one customer and we know they got the money.
Where they want to spend their money at.
Yep. So then we do the market research to figure out exactly how to position ourselves. Do capability statements. Really understand it, because what I tell people, because we have the benefit in government contracting that we have the one customer that has the money.
Yeah.
We don't want to set up a business based on what we think they want.
Gotcha.
There's no guesswork in this.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They telling you exactly what it is. They spelling it out for you.
So that's my job, is to show you how to interpret what they tell you. See, that's the big thing I tell people with this, is all the information is free. It's all out there for you. The problem is there's nobody telling you how to use the information. And that's just like everything in our life these days. Like they'll give us stuff and be like, well, we gave it to you.
You gave it to you, but you didn't tell me how.
You didn't tell me how to use it. So what does it matter if you gave it to me if you didn't teach me how to use it?
You didn't give me the proper steps.
Yeah, so somebody could give you the whole world, and it's like as a kid, if you don't know how to drive, it doesn't matter if somebody gives you a Lamborghini, you don't know how to drive. So what are you gonna do? Just look at it?
Yeah. It's like kids now. Y'all literally have every answer you need
right there in your hand.
But how many of y'all Google how to start a business or how to cook or how to do this? No, they don't. Because the TikTok store. I got 6 kids, and trust me, they all TikTok store. I be like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Y'all can literally do anything, but
so that's what that whole first half of day one is, just teaching you how to navigate, how to take the information they give you and really turn it into dollars. And then we really start, once we figure that out and I get everybody on the same playing field, then we start diving into it. So you got the SAM registration. We go through the different certifications, because that's a big thing. People don't understand the power of certifications. And they don't understand exactly what all of them are. And there's so many, there's so much behind certifications. And another thing is people don't realize what certifications they actually qualify for. So there's a certification out there for every person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we get hung up on the ones that we know.
Give them a couple.
Yeah. So on a federal standpoint, I always have to start by saying this. Federally, the federal government does not recognize race anymore. So race is not recognized as a disadvantage. What the federal government looks at is social and economic disadvantages. So what that means is that, do you have some type of social or economic disadvantage that will hold you back from doing business on an equal playing field?
Gotcha.
Okay. So we have to start by saying that, because that's another misconception. People say, well, in minority cert, I'm black, so I should get a certification. That's not true on a federal standpoint. Now, on a state and local, that may be true, but federally, it has nothing to do with that. So there's the women-owned cert, which is basically what it is. So females apply to the Small Business Administration, they get a certification based on that. There's the veteran certs. So veteran-owned small business, service-disabled veteran-owned small business. There is the Hub Zone, which is one of the most powerful certs and one of the most, it's almost like a pun, but it's one of the most underutilized certs. And it's Hub Zone. And it stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. So basically what it means is that if you have an office in anywhere that typically business is not done at a high level, then the government will give you a certification where they will set aside work for you to help grow business within that area. There's only 2,800 hub zones in the entire country.
Yeah.
People that have the certification. So it's a very, very powerful certification. It's one of those ones that's available to anybody.
Tap into that
Yeah,
one,
but
shit.
people don't know that it exists. So you got hope so.
I mean, it was great in my head. Like, I know a couple of places that
Right.
it's not really being serviced. Like, for instance, if anybody is aware of South Dallas,
Mm.
it's they're trying to turn the community around because it's being gentrified slowly, and they got the Fair Park over there. So that's kind of the big commodity that's keeping South Dallas alive. But there's a lot of spaces over there that are underutilized because people, the community is not quite the best, but not a lot of people is investing into the community.
That's what the
So
cert
therefore,
is.
exactly, and then
That's it.
it's tax dollars that are not being put into the community. So therefore, the community is what it is because not a lot of businesses are investing in the area. Not a lot of houses
Yep.
are being built in the area, and if the houses that are being built, some people come in, buy the land very cheap, buy the house very cheap, scrape it off, put in a 3-story, and now it's all modern and stuff.
And
in
the
South
people who
Dallas.
live there can't afford to live there.
They can't afford to live there. So what they do, they move out into some apartments or something. So that's why I'm trying to jump into the apartment syndication and multi-families, because people are always going to need somewhere to live. But if they have a better quality place to live, then it maybe it'll be the spark to help change their mindset to get their life together.
Yeah. That hub zone service, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So they're literally the government setting aside money for people that are willing to put businesses in those areas and bring and revitalize it. So that, and then naturally you have the most powerful one that most people know, which is the 8A. And so the 8A is a 9-year program where the government basically, they help you grow your business to stop being a small business and start being a medium business.
Okay, good. So y'all hear, man, my man Kev done dropped some amazing gems on you. So if you ain't learned nothing today, it's you. It's not the information because he done gave you the play. He done gave you how to take the course so you can learn exactly how to do the play. Because like he said, the information is free, but the access to how to do it, that's what you got to pay for. You got to pay to play. So before we can get out of here, and that's because we want to jump over into the Stoner LD. Just get the people one last little word of inspiration.
Just don't stop.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Every day, get 1% better than the day before.
Show up.
Just don't stop. That's it.
Show up, y'all. Y'all hear that? And that's what we're gonna stop at, man. Again, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy Torian Hines. I'm the host of the Distorted Cosmos. We got my man Kev J here with the Government Cheese. And again, we just want to appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you got any value out of this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comment your favorite part at the bottom. Tag Kev J, tag Government Cheese, and tag somebody who needs to get into the Government Cheese space. This is how they get here. This is the key right here. Tap in. And on that note, I'm headed out. Yay.